what's happening in Manipur? What is the reason behind the tensions in the state? So recently in the news, you have been witnessing that Manipur is facing a severe humanitarian crisis due to the violent clash that broke between two ethnic groups of the state. One is Meitei community and the another side the Kuki Naga community is protesting on the another side. So these violent clash between the both ethnic groups have led to the internal disturbance in the state. So before going back to that, what is the specific cause of the violence? I mean, a major violence erupted. What is the specific causes? Like Manipur High Court have pronounced some sort of suggestion or judgment that led to this kind of thing. We can see it later. But what the government have done to curb the violences, like central government have imposed the emergency provision of Article 355, which says that if any internal disturbance or external aggression is occurring in a state, then the central government can interfere in a state. I mean, through deploying its paramilitary troops to take over the control of the state government to curb the violence. So that's what central government have done, and somewhat they have controlled the violence that erupted between the two communities, but they refused to impose the Article 356. The Article 356 states that if the state machineries fail, then the president can take over the state's rule. But here, what is the main uniqueness? The similarity is the central government is BJP government, and Manipur state government is also headed by the BJP government. I mean, the Byron Singh is the chief minister. So now the central government have imposed only the Article 355, not Article 356. So while going back to the Manipur clashes, first we have to see Northeast, about the history of the northeastern states. So mainly the northeastern states include the Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland and Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh. So while seeing into the northeastern states, we should also take our neighboring country Myanmar, because the whole of India is divided into like religion, caste system, but in northeastern states it's completely different. They are divided based on the ethnicity. I mean, tribal groups, ethnic groups, they are divided. So we should also include the Myanmar. For example, when we see about the northeastern history, today also the northeastern extremist group have demanding for a separate country. The tribal group have formed into a large army. So they are protesting against the Indian government and they want a separate country. For example, during the independence, while India got independence, the Nagaland refused to become a part of India, because these Naga people have been demanding a greater Nagaland, which says that Nagaland wants to be a separate country. Today also in Manipur, I have mentioned about the Kuki people. The Kuki people is also a part of extremist group. They are also having a sort of army and they are also demanding the Kuki land. Kuki land includes the part of Nagaland and full part of Manipur and our neighboring country Myanmar. So they want these areas as a separate country. I mean the Kuki land. In Assam also that's a problem. In Mizoram. So there are many extremist groups. These tribal groups have turned themselves into extremists and fighting against the Indian government. So that's why in 1958 Indian government have introduced the AFSPA Act, Armed Forces Special Powers Act, which gives more powers to the Indian Army and in the northeastern states. So and the Indian Army also committed various crimes like illegal rapes and human rights violation in the northeastern region. That's a black part of the Indian Army. So now the present situation for around if we see about for a decade, today the northeast have attained somehow peace, because many extremist group have came to negotiate with the government for the peace talks. For example, NSC and IM have put down the arms and brought back to the negotiating table. Even Kuki land also some sort of their demand they have put down. So some sort of normalcy prevail in the northeastern states, but this violence, Manipur violence, have erupted the sort of tensions between again in the northeast. So first we have to see what is the judgment gave by the Manipur High Court. So the Manipur High Court have directed the Manipur state government to consider the Meitei community. Meitei community is the dominant community in the Manipur. Around 53% of the people belongs to the Meitei community, and these people lives in the main part of the Manipur. Main part of the Manipur is like Manipur capital city is Imphal. So Imphal has a valley. So this Meitei community live surrounding the valley. Normally we have read in the, like, whenever there is a civilization, this civilization will reside along the valley. So this Meitei community will reside along the valley, and they are largely cherished. Today also in the government jobs, Manipur government jobs, it is dominated by the Meitei community, and for around 60, there are 60 constituencies in the Manipur legislative assembly. 40 is reserved for this Meitei community. So Meitei community remains to a dominated community in the Manipur. Other than Meitei community, there are scheduled tribes community which numbers around 34, and one of the important scheduled tribe community is Kuki community, which is classified around 25% of the state's population is around Kuki community, and apart from Kuki community, Naga community is there around 50% of the state. So the recent clash occurred in 2012. This Meitei community have lodged a case in the Manipur High Court that they want to become a part of the ST community, because they are saying that they are also underrepresented everywhere. So they also want some sort of privileges. So they are designated to be a part of ST community. During the independence, this Meitei community is a part of this tribal community, but later, after the Mandal Commission appointed, the Mandal Commission termed the Meitei community as a larger community. They are accessible to various privileges, so we put under the OBC community. So after that, they are under the OBC community till now. But in 2012, they have lodged this case. Today, what Manipur High Court have told is, they have directed the state government to consider to give the proposal to the central government, because if a community or a kind of ethnic group want to become a part of this community, or kind of reservation is a kind of like they want to approach the parliament, and the parliament should pass a bill and president should give an assent. But here Manipur High Court have gave a recommendation. Today the Supreme Court Chief Justice Chandrachud have also criticized why the High Court is giving such a judgment, because it is a policy decision. Reservation is a kind of policy decisions which should be taken by the government, but this High Court have directed this. So this is a kind of controversial judgment given by the Manipur High Court. If this dominated Meitei community have been designated as the scheduled tribes, today they cannot buy land from the hilly region which is reserved for the scheduled tribes people, I mean for the tribal people. But if they designated as a tribal, then they can also buy land from the hilly region. That's what this Kuki and Naga people fearing. So whether the judgment is the reason behind for such kind of disastrous humanitarian disaster that have been occurring in the Manipur? No, it's completely not. This is a series of kind of repressions and oppression made by the government, and this led to the major tensions among these scheduled tribe communities. The current status of Manipur violence, there are some sort of series of events occurring for over the months. So what are the events? So the recent BJP government in the Manipur have been increasing the amount of forest under the protected areas. These tribal people, this Kuki community, Naga community, and many other tribal community consider this forest as their inherent property. So today they are increasing their number of area of protected areas, and they are designating these scheduled tribes people as encroachers. They are illegally encroaching these areas. So they have been involved in largely eviction plans. I mean, they are pushing back the people. They have demolished the houses in these forest areas. That's the main reason behind these tensions. This is one of the tensions happened in earlier months. And another important main dissatisfaction over the government is, so for around 2 years the Myanmar is under the coup. So this Kuki people is also have ancestral links with the Myanmar. I mean their relatives as residing in Myanmar. So the Indian government is following a hard policy towards the migrants, especially the immigrants from the illegal immigrants from the Myanmar, and saying that these illegal immigrants should be sent back. So that's led to a large kind of tensions among the Kuki people, and they are saying that they are relatives, and why are you designating them as illegal migrants, and why are you not giving a kind of refugee status? So that is also a problem. And important thing is, today the government is maintaining a crackdown on the poppy cultivation in the northeast. So the Meitei community is accusing that this Kuki community is leaving the illegal migrants in the hilly region, and also they are like growing the poppy cultivation, which is the main raw material for heroin. And the subsequent events led to the tensions in the state, and that led to the eruption of the protest, and the eruption of the protest led to the this enormous humanitarian disastrous violence. So that's the reason behind the Manipur protest. So we have to see what will happen in the future. Somehow, under the article 355, after the enhancement of the imposition of the article 355, the government have controlled the violence. But in the course of, in the period of the Manipur is experiencing, I mean the northeast is experiencing a kind of relief towards from the AFSPA. These violence have created some such kind of tensions, and it also led to a kind of crackdown of protest in the northeast. So we can see what will happen in the future. Thank you.